Halliburton has been clutch. The NBA is in decline. Rodgers is in Pittsburgh. This and more next on Good Sports. Thanks for joining us. I'm Randy, and I'm also joined alongside Trent, Cameron, and also Drew behind the scenes. And we have a lot to talk about today. There's a whole bunch of things going on, so we're excited. But first, hit that subscribe button. It really helps. Please, it gets our content out, and you'll get more and more stuff. Hit that bell and everything, and please add comments. We love to see the comments. You agree, disagree. We appreciate it very much. It's a crazy time of year. We're in the playoffs. We're going to start off with some things.
Playoffs?
And right now we have a series. We got a 1-1 series as of the time we're recording this. So it's going back to Indy. But right now we got to talk game one. Halliburton comes up clutch. Now this is what he's done in the playoffs thus far this year. First round, game 5 versus the Bucks. He drives past Giannis in the series-sealing layup in overtime, where his dad came out. That was iconic. Game 2 in the next round against the Cavs. He has the famous step-back 3, which was awesome. And that ended the Pacers' comeback there with a win. Then you had Game 1 versus the Knicks, Eastern Conference Finals. He has the big shot in overtime as time expired. Very rarely do you get a game winner. Okay, he's been doing this over and over again, and he had the famous choke sign that he did, a la Reggie Miller. And then
who was there?
And the game wasn't over.
And the game wasn't over.
Well, because he thought it was a 3.
He thought it was a 3.
He
and
thought it was a
then
3,
here in the championship round, finals, game 1 versus the Thunder, he comes back and hits another game-winning shot.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I'm not saying he's obviously missed the best of all time, because we're not going to be foolish there.
Mm-hmm.
But for a playoff run,
Mm-hmm.
this is I don't remember somebody doing this. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? I wanted to hear, where do you think this ranks in comebacks for an entire playoff series? Where would you guys put this?
Well, just to solidify or to give a little backing on why I think this is the greatest playoffs run ever.
Mm-hmm.
When teams are trailing by 9+ points in the final minutes of an NBA Finals game since 1971, teams are 1-182.
Crazy.
That one team is the Pacers.
Crazy.
Then first game of the finals. Another stat for that. In the first game of the finals, OKC was leading for 46 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yep.
The Pacers were leading for 0.3 seconds.
Gotta love it.
They won that game in the very end. There was not a single point in that game where the Pacers were favored to win, and yet they still won.
Yeah.
I think Tyrese Halliburton probably has the best clutch gene I've ever seen. I think if I had to choose anyone to take a clutch game winner, I probably would choose Tyrese Halliburton. Just from what we've seen in the last 4 weeks, last month.
Yeah.
He's got the sauce.
He has it. He is the guy. And mind you, this is the same guy that played 26 minutes in the Olympics and didn't play in the semifinal or final game at all.
And was voted the most
overrated player in the NBA.
Yeah.
By other players.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So to put in perspective, you think of Michael Jordan clutch shots, which he's had a lot, and a lot of these players that have had a lot of clutch shots. Rarely do you have one in a season where it's a game winner. Mm-hmm. There's not very many times are game winners. You might have that was a big shot with 40 seconds to go to seal the game or tie the game, and maybe you'll get one or two. It's very rare. He's done this in each round of the playoffs, and they've been expected to lose a lot of these series. Mm-hmm. And
no one expected the Pacers to make it to the finals.
No.
Out of all the teams,
no
way.
The Cavs were expected to beat them.
Yeah.
Then the Knicks, and now the Thunder, and some people had the Bucks winning. I mean, that was more of a pick'em series, but he has stepped up, and it has been. I don't know. I can't say because I haven't seen it for a long career. But for a playoff run, I've never seen anything like it. What do you think, Trent?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how this guy didn't get the MVP. Like
Because
crazy.
of the completeness of his game?
No, sir, not the league MVP. To be clear,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the semi
Eastern Conference.
Yeah, the Eastern
Finals.
Conference.
Yeah, he thought he did. Emotionally, he was stepping forward like he got it. And he's like, okay, it went to Siakam because he had one stat better.
I just like
It was
doesn't
insane.
make. I mean, he is quite literally the leader of this squad by a long shot.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
No.
Like they
No.
follow Tyrese
Yes.
wherever he goes.
Yep.
If he decided tomorrow that he was done, they might all just quit the team.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the emotional leader for this team. He is the physical leader for this team. And you gave it off to somebody else. It made no sense to me.
No. I believe, I'd have to check this. We'll have to have maybe Drew check this behind fact. But I don't think there's the Pacers in the first two games have had somebody score 20 points. He's affecting the game by getting everybody involved equally. Anyway, it's incredible what he's done. It's I think it's 2 minutes now. I think there's only been 2 minutes they've led in 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
they're going to win the next one.
We're gonna find out.
We know
so-
that for fact.
You know what sucks about this
What's that?
finals? The distance between the two teams
Yeah.
and how far they're having to go for these games.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
688 miles in between these two teams.
That's crazy.
So every other night they're having to take like a 5-6 hour flight to get to this other place. They're basically playing a game.
Hold up. It's got to be further than that, right? Indiana.
No, I saw the stat. It's 688 miles.
Oklahoma City. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is why they way back when it used to be. I mean, they've changed it back and forth. It used to be two games home, 2 games away, and then it was 1, 1, and 1. And they changed it because it became back in the 80s the Lakers and the Celtics. Now that's a long series, and so they were flying, and then they were flying, and they were flying, and so and flying makes a big difference. I mean, you look in the NFL, your percentage drops by going from the East Coast to the West Coast, or whatever,
Or
vice versa.
yeah.
And so you're going from north in this situation to south. And somebody was saying, one of the players in the NBA, I don't know if it's Aaron Gordon or somebody was saying earlier that they think they should have more separation between games in the playoffs and to get their legs ready and all that kind of stuff.
I
So,
definitely think there should be more separation between series.
I like that.
Because the first like 3 sections of the playoffs are so close together that the team, like say one team on one side sweeps every opponent they have and they make it to the finals, and then the other team plays 7 in each one, and they're playing back to back. You know, you're playing so much that by the time those teams meet in the middle, that team has had like 3 times as much rest as the other team has, and by the time they meet in the middle, this one team is at such a disadvantage already.
I think that also affects people getting hurt. Steph
Yeah.
Curry gets hurt with his hamstring because they're playing, and then they
We
move
just
on to
needed-
the next series.
needed to survive one more game,
So
and
just-
Steph would have been back.
Yeah, so
one more game.
just think if he had, a couple
blame
more
you.
days in between, he might not have hurt his hamstring. I mean, that's part of why you're hurting your hamstring is he won the series.
He's also just
and then
old.
2 days later he's playing.
He's also just old.
Well, that does hurt.
but
I can attest to
I
that.
also we needed a certain player to play a certain way, and he didn't play that certain way.
No,
Yet he played that way in Miami.
for years.
Well,
All of a
Okay,
sudden, he just doesn't know how to
he's
play
not
basketball.
exactly
You know
young
who
either.
Tyrese
No,
reminds me
but
of, though?
still,
Who?
Tyrese reminds me a lot of like legendary Paul Pierce.
Oh,
I don't know. I see some similars in their games. Okay, and I was just thinking, the Celtics organization, such a great organization in the NBA. Could you yourself, Randy, name 3 great things about the Celtics?
No, I can't say anything great about the Celtics. I can't. No, I mean they have as many championships as any. They have the most by one.
Lots of championships.
Yeah, but I mean they also won when there was like 10 teams in the league.
They also might have
so
had.
did the Lakers.
They also might have had the baddest white boy of all time,
Yeah,
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Larry Stinking Bird. So
Listen, I wish I could order shorts as short as his were. You know,
You can.
You
Fun
can't even,
fact.
you
They're
can't even
coming
buy
back.
them that short anymore.
They're
Yeah, you
coming
can.
back. Running shorts now.
They're
Come
women's volleyball shorts.
Imagine if Larry played in his 40s, dude. They would have been dangling out the bottom.
Okay, well, so all right. So who do you have winning this series? I cannot think of Larry Bird in that manner. I've already thought of him in too many rough ways. There's a lot of jokes going off in my head right now. And, anyway, so who do you have winning this series?
It's
right
easy.
now. You still
it's easy.
it's not
Indiana, dude.
all right. You still
Listen,
going,
you're
he's still
off the
dying on.
papaya.
Yeah.
OKC is nothing but one superstar.
Okay, so there's been 96 minutes, I believe, in the
Oh,
two games. They've been
goodness.
ahead by 2, so
Oh,
you're
goodness.
confident. You're as confident as can be in your minute and a half.
Let me tell you. Okay, I told
Minute
you.
and a half.
I told you OKC should have easily won the first game.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Pacers I
Yeah.
thought needed some planning time.
Yeah.
Right. But OKC sucked so much
In
in
the
first
second
game
half, yeah.
that they lost
Yeah,
to the
they
Pacers
choked.
in the
They
first, choking
choked.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
they did choke.
So then, how was the Indiana Pacers supposed to get better when OKC didn't play as well as they should have?
Game 3
They
is the
then
big
got
one.
beat in the second one, so we're gonna see a bounce back from Indiana.
Could be. And it's home.
Yep, and it's gonna end Game 7.
And
Indiana's
going to
gonna-
go all the way to game
so
7.
he's got Indiana
in
winning in
7.
Game 7. What about you, Cameron? We didn't get to hear your prediction on this. I want to hear what you have to say. I picked OKC in 5.
I think you're dumb.
Okay.
Oh, double down.
If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
who I thought would win, I would have said OKC blindly and stupidly. Now that I've seen the Pacers play, and
Yeah.
now that I've seen how much of a dog Halliburton is,
Yeah.
I'm educated and a lot smarter than I was 2 weeks ago. And now I can confidently say that I have the Pacers.
Put an exclamation point on the educated.
And
I'm
and
educated.
the reason I say that is because OKC is such a young team. They have like no veterans.
Yeah.
They have no one that's been to the playoffs before. The Pacers do.
Halliburton's young, though.
Yeah.
Their
No,
main
he's
guy.
been in the league for a minute.
So is SGA.
He's like 24.
Yeah, they're all young players. The stars are young.
The stars are young,
Yeah.
but
They have
OKC
Turner. who's got a
OKC
little more.
genuinely doesn't have any older players. Like
No,
they
you're right.
genuinely have.
Yeah, they're
Miles
No.
Turner's kind of older, isn't
Miles Turner is like 28.
he?
Yeah,
he's-
that's what I'm saying. He's
But
more of a
I'm
veteran.
saying more people that have actually made it to the finals and like
Yeah.
made it to playoff games, like Siakam.
Yeah.
Like people, Siakam is for the Pacers what
Siakam.
Iguodala was for the Warriors.
Yeah. And he was the MVP of the
Yes.
Eastern Conference Finals.
So I am putting a lot of faith in the Pacers. I think that they have it, and I think that they'll play a lot better. But I think,
Yeah, Siakam's 31.
yeah, OKC's not going to give them an easy route. I think that's been shown. But I also think that it doesn't matter because the
right.
Pacers are going to win.
So what are you going to say if
You only have to be ahead 0.3 seconds of a game to win.
So if OKC wins
If
this
you ain't
series,
first, you're last.
you're going to come back here and say Mies was wrong?
Absolutely not. I'm going to double down.
You're going to say, I didn't see what I saw.
I'm going to do what every 49ers player does. And either
living the
blame it on
dream.
injuries or blame it on the
Yeah,
refs.
that's-
Listen, Vin,
Any
Vin
team that
Diesel said
loses-
it best, okay?
I'm going to just do what any team does when they lose to the Chiefs and blame it on the refs.
Vin Diesel said it
was a good
best.
one.
Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Yeah.
Okay? And the Indiana Pacers are going to win.
Indiana. So you have Indiana in 7. You have Indiana in what, 10? What do you
Six.
have? 6?
6.
Okay. 6. Okay. All right. Drew is saying Pacers. Drew has Pacers in 6. I'm the only OKC person.
LeBron
All right?
James,
So I'm staying
light
alone,
shade,
and
microphone,
I
Pacers
feel
in 6.
I feel very good about this. I don't feel good about 5 as much anymore. I'm thinking more 6 now, but I'll stick with 5, and we'll see how it goes. So anyway, we'll see how that comes back. All right, so this week
Miles
the worst.
Turner, Timmy Turner, Bunsen burner. Bases and 6.
Okay, all right. So
Bunsen burner had me.
we've got now moving on. We've got the worst kept secret in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh.
Ooh, shaka.
Which they had. It sounds like a little gentleman's agreement, which is why Shadir didn't go there. They kind of knew this for a while, and I think it sounds like He said to them, if you take Shadur, even if you're going to say he's playing behind me, I ain't coming to you. So that might have been part of the reason why Shadur fell, because there's only a couple teams that actually needed quarterbacks. But I'm looking in the AFC North, and I know Aaron Rodgers is not what Aaron Rodgers was. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be that good. I saw a little
They'll
reel.
still hit 500.
I saw a little reel that said Aaron Rodgers just signed, and the next thing was the commissioner saying, and with the first pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers take. So a lot of people don't think they're going to do as well. But I'm asking more of a specific question. If one of the teams in the AFC North was to win the Super Bowl, not counting the Browns, okay, you've got Burrow, you've got Lamar Jackson, and you got Rodgers. Who would mean the most to them? Who would have the biggest change in people's perspectives on this if they won this year? Who would you say? I want to hear.
I mean, are you saying what would be
people's perspectives of that player? Like where would they move?
See, I could see how you could come to this conversation.
The biggest move.
Yeah, because Rodgers is in a little bit of a situation right now. Lamar's definitely in a situation. And I just found out not too long ago that Joe Burrow seems to also be in a situation, which Cameron actually called.
I've been saying this, that Burrow is not that good.
I mean, here's the deal. Joe Burrow
he can't even make it to the playoffs.
Okay, he had statistically
he has two of the best wide receivers in the league, and he can't even make it to the playoffs.
He has a terrible defense. But go ahead.
Statistically speaking, he had an amazing offensive season last year.
Yeah, he did his part.
But Jalen Hurts said it best. There's winning and there's losing. We don't care how we get there, okay?
Yeah, right.
Everyone always is upset about how Jalen Hurts wins football games. And he said it best many a times. It doesn't matter how you get there. Winning is winning. And right now, Joe Burrow's missing winning. And at some point, you got to remember Tom Brady didn't always have a top 10 defense. He had a couple. He definitely had a couple. But it wasn't always top 10.
New England's, they're a defensive team.
I said a couple.
New England just cheated. That's the only way they won.
I said a couple, okay?
Okay.
They weren't always superstars.
Okay,
how about the defense?
I don't know if you can consider Julian Edelman a superstar.
I don't think they were number one.
When they beat Seattle?
They weren't Seattle's defense, no.
No, absolutely not.
No one's been Seattle's defense.
No,
well, that's true.
But they did win it with this defensive play.
Oh my gosh!
I don't want to.
He was an undrafted player.
Can we skip this part?
Okay, my bad.
Thank you.
Anyways, all I'm getting to is Joe Burrow's in a situation right now. Where producing just numbers is not good enough. He's got to produce rings and trophies. So does he have a lot to play for this year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
He does, because he's missed the playoffs, I think, 2 years in a row, to what you're saying. And he has made it to the Super Bowl, so he has got his team to the Super Bowl. But he has lost 2 years in a row, and you're right. And in the end, nobody cares. The fact that he doesn't, his coach is not that great, I think that does hurt him, and their defense sucks. However, in the end, no one cares.
Yeah.
You have to. You're right in the aspect of, in the end, if you're the best player, you got to lead your team.
Yeah. And here's the deal.
Fair.
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson for my pick, actually.
Okay.
Only because I think Lamar has the most to lose. They paid him a huge guaranteed contract.
Okay.
And he's the only one out of the quarterbacks where I'm like, if he doesn't win next year, I could legitimately see them thinking about parting ways. And for Aaron Rodgers, it doesn't matter as much.
Because they're parting ways.
Because he's going to part ways anyways. He's going to go into retirement and float away, right?
Yeah.
So, listen, even if Joe Burrow comes out, breaks his arm, and doesn't play all season, the Bengals aren't going to move on from him.
Right.
Because they barely give people large contracts anyways.
Yeah.
And they've already gave him a large contract.
That's true. They don't pay people.
The Bengals aren't going to move on from him.
Yeah.
And the Bengals will probably still love him because he's the superstar of a small town.
Yeah.
Small football franchise. I should word it that way.
Yeah.
I think Lamar has by far the most to lose. If he doesn't produce next year and at least make to the to the semi-championships.
And who would you think would change your the perception of them, though, if they win? So if you say here's your three choices. Aaron Rodgers, who no one thinks Pittsburgh has a chance, and he brings them to the Super Bowl, where would that put him versus Joe Burrow, who hasn't made the playoffs the last couple times, but he wins, or Lamar, who's knocking on the door every year and wins?
I don't know, but is
Who would
Aaron,
have the
is
biggest
Aaron
gap?
even in the conversation of making a Super Bowl?
They're not going to make
He's
Super.
not.
I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking,
Because they
Aaron
always make the
Rodgers-
playoffs.
Hypothetically speaking, if Aaron Rodgers makes it to the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, then of course we're all going to probably be like, okay, he's got all the MVPs. He's now got multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He's top 5 quarterback. Of all
Top
time.
5 quarterback of
Yeah.
all time.
Yeah.
I think he can get in the top 5
Yeah. I do
easily
too.
with a
If he-
Super Bowl victory.
I agree with you. I agree.
But-
Cameron, I want to hear what you have to say. Of those three, what would you say?
Who's most important?
Yeah. To their career.
I think out of these, the problem is I think there's other players in the league that have a bigger kind of make it or break it moment right now. This
I was
season.
more just thinking, yeah, there's.
I don't
there's-
want to get sidetracked, but
there's
you know
a
what the
bunch.
two players I just thought of in my head where I was like,
I was
if these
thinking
players
AFC
don't
North.
perform, I'm so out on them for the rest of their careers.
Jay Herbo,
Yep. And what's
And
the other one?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yep. Those are the exact
Jay
two people
Herbo and
who
Trevor
popped in my
Lawrence
head.
are like the
If
biggest
those
what
two-
ifs this
If
season.
those two do not produce this year, I'm out. I'm
mean-
just out for good.
I mean, Justin Herbert had a better season than Joe Burrow last
well,
year. He
his
made it to the
offense
playoffs.
became a running offense.
Yeah.
Of course.
No.
Yes, he did. They made the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs, but there's a reason why they made the playoffs versus Cincinnati. The defense and the offensive line are 100 times better. All Cincinnati has is a quarterback and a couple receivers. And Trey
not
Hendrickson.
just a couple receivers.
No, I mean, I'm saying they have the receivers.
They have the
a
number one
quarterback-
receiving core in the
They have
NFL.
the
Yes,
receivers.
they have the receivers.
And
they
a
have the-
tight end
and
that's
they-
really good.
And they have Trey Hendrickson, too, on defense. And their defense, though, is one of the worst in the leagues.
Well, Trey
And
Hendrickson
their
did lead the league in sacks last
Yes,
year.
but their defense overall is one of the worst in the leagues, and their offensive line is terrible. So those are two huge factors. You take 10 of the defensive players and an offensive line that's bad. And Jim Harbaugh is smart. They're a lot smarter. Cincinnati's one of the dumbest teams. Cincinnati.
Oh,
or
so you're
Ohio.
not necessarily defending Justin Herbert.
No.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't
okay.
think. I think he's overrated too.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Okay, I thought that's what you were saying
no,
for a second.
no, I'm not.
I thought you were defending
I
Justin
think
Herbert.
your points of those two quarterbacks are very comparable.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're.
I just think if they don't perform this year, there's no way you could ever get me to buy back in.
Yeah,
just
even
can't.
if they perform once, it's hard for me to buy in. When you're 1 for 8,
I think for like Justin Herbert specifically,
yeah,
to not be able to perform under a coach like John Harbaugh, who's just run the ball extremely well every place he's ever been.
yeah,
What's a quarterback's best friend? A good run game.
run. Yeah, he gives you the offensive line to protect you.
Yeah.
he gives. Yeah, it's.
They
I
have
agree.
they have probably
what do
two
you
of the
think-
top 10 tackles in the league.
What do
too.
you think
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's stats were last year?
I know that he ended in the playoffs with 4 interceptions.
That's not what I asked.
I'm just saying. That's where.
I mean,
you know,
he probably was
His regular season stats. What do you think he was?
top 15 in passing yards.
Top 10.
Okay.
Okay. So okay,
Is it like 9 or 8 or is it
He's
top?
ninth.
Okay, that
ninth?
makes
And
sense.
He
what's-
has-
and what's
Okay,
the
so
he
I
has,
was in
he has
there.
3,800 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions for the regular season. He was the 11th QB in QBR rating last year. He had an incredible season,
I mean, it's a.
and he made it to the playoffs.
So you're saying he's way above, in your opinion?
He's better than Joe
Prince?
Burrow.
Gosh.
He's better than Joe Burrow because he performs
I
more
don't-
consistently. I would rather have a
Herbert's
Justin Herbert.
mom would not take Herbert over Joe Burrow on her
Justin
fantasy
Herbert.
team.
Justin Herbert is so incredibly more consistent than Joe Burrow. It's not even funny.
Okay. So anyway, back to the original question of those three. Okay, who would you say would make the biggest
I
impact?
think Joe Burrow's already gone, so I'm going to say Lamar Jackson because if Lamar Jackson doesn't,
he gets into elite category if he wins the Super Bowl.
if Lamar Jackson even makes it to a Super Bowl, I'll be impressed. But he has to make it there first.
Yeah.
He can't seem to beat a higher ranked AFC team to save his life.
Yeah.
He can't do anything when someone good plays against him. His division is great for him because everyone sucks. So that's why they win.
He reminds me a lot of like Michael Vick when he was with the Falcons,
Yeah.
where Michael Vick obviously was an extremely talented
He's going to start
athlete.
beating animals.
Oh goodness. Michael Vick.
All these conversations, they start floating around here, and then
Sorry, it's just like the first thing that comes to my head.
no, I get
He
it.
was an extremely talented athlete, but he
Yeah.
never developed after the first couple of years.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't develop until he went to jail and then
Right.
played for the Eagles.
Yeah.
But I think the hard thing with Lamar is he just doesn't seem like he's developing each and every year. I mean, does that make sense? Like, I don't know that he's like a class better than he was 2 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's improved a little bit.
My concern with him is he's ran the ball so much. At some point, is he going to get hurt? And he's not going to last. That's my concern. But I personally think he's proven that he can win. When you lead your team and you would win if Flowers doesn't fumble the ball in the 1 millimeter mark of the end zone, he's in the Super Bowl and could have won. So he was as close as could be, but he hasn't overcome yet. Until you do it, there's just a huge gap. I mean, we talked about this. Jalen Hurts, his status goes up significantly. When you win a Super Bowl, it makes a big difference. They can't take you don't win a Super Bowl and get lucky. You have to be elite. You might have some fortunate, every team will have some fortunate situations, but to win a Super Bowl, you have to be consistently good.
Oh my gosh, can I get sidetracked on this thought?
Yeah.
I had this thought the other day. It's like a shower thought. Not really. Anyways, it's more like a driving thought.
Okay. I'm so confused right now.
Didn't Patrick Mahomes lose his first Super Bowl?
No.
I'm pretty sure, right? He played Tom Brady, Tampa Bay. Wasn't
No,
that
that
the
was our
first one?
second.
Oh, okay. Anyways, Mahomes started 1-2 in Super Bowls, and Jalen is now 1-2 in Super Bowls. And I thought to myself, we had some great rivalries back in the day, like quarterback rivalries. What if this is the next one? Jalen versus Patrick. What if this isn't the last time we see them?
It
go
could
against each
happen.
other?
They're both good again.
I mean, I just think that would be really cool.
I think Eagles want that. I don't think the Chiefs care. I don't think Patrick Mahomes cares who he plays.
Yeah, but I think
It'd be fun.
I think
ask Tom Brady.
I think-
I'll tell you.
I think
Listen.
Jalen took it a lot more personal than Patrick did.
Listen.
Oh, he for
after
sure took it
after this
personal.
game, Patrick Mahomes was like, "That sucks."
That's because
On to the next.
That's because he's already got 3 rings.
Yeah.
He's got the
But-
cushion. Hurts needed the one.
He does-
And,
he
you know,
does
Hurts
have
was
the
like,
cushion.
"I'm gonna kill that
But
guy.
I will tell you,
I'm gonna murder him."
we cannot have them play again because that
Why?
will not be good for you guys. When it starts to get a rivalry, I'm telling you, all of a sudden you look like I do back with Boston and LA, and I still struggle 30 years later saying 3 good things about the Celtics.
I guarantee you, I don't have that problem.
I will
Well,
say though, like
You're a better man than I
I
am.
guarantee you, it's
the
not
Tom
that deep.
Brady Peyton Manning rivalry was only fun because they played in the same division.
I don't think there was a rivalry
Or same
there. I was gonna
conference.
say it's more
Same
Eli.
conference.
I think there's more of a rivalry
Well-
between Tom Brady and Eli.
But I don't know. It's probably not as fun if they're in 2 different conferences because the only time they're gonna play is when it's a huge game.
But if you go and it's I don't know, when you go a 3rd time against each other in the big game, whew, I mean that's a rivalry. A rivalry doesn't happen until you've won and you've lost both
I
teams.
hope every year we get to beat the Cowboys 3 times.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I want to say this. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. The NBA ratings in the finals are down.
Surprise, surprise.
I don't think we talked about that, predicted that. Baseball ratings are up significantly. Why do you think that is? I'm curious what your thoughts are. So they just had a Red Sox-Yankees series, and I think they had like 3 million more viewers than they did the previous year. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Why do you think the ratings are the way the ratings are?
I
Trent?
don't know. My initial guess is just people who watch basketball had to go somewhere. Listen, I'm not the person to ask. You need to
Okay.
ask Cameron. I don't like baseball in that manner. Like I
Yeah.
could go watch a game and I'm like, this
Yeah.
is fun, entertaining.
Yeah. But I had some
You'll
good
never catch me
garlic
watching
fries.
98 stupid games
Yeah.
or whatever it is a year. Is it more than that? Drew, how many games they play a year?
It's like 120.
It's 162 games in a baseball
That's
season.
so gross. So gross.
Basketball's a lot of games, and it's 82.
Yeah. I just don't understand why anyone would ever want to
And-
watch 162 sporting events.
Yeah.
I just
So here's
Not for
here's
me.
why I'm going to tell you why I think. But you want to go first, Cameron?
No, you can go first. I'm
Okay.
looking something
I
up.
think there's a couple things. One, we're in the NBA Finals, and we have second-tier stars. You don't have that Steph Curry, that LeBron James, that first level. You have smaller market. And I think 2 smaller market teams is creating less. You don't see Indiana Pacers fans walking around all year round for the last 20 years and vice versa. Okay. So you have smaller market. They don't have the same franchise. I also think it goes into play that they've lost a lot of fans. They've been in decline for a while. They don't try as hard. They're making $300 million, and you can watch people not try, and they don't play very much. And I think that's turned a lot of fans off. In baseball, you don't have that same thing. It's because of in football, you have to play because there's full aggressiveness, right? You can't play soft. Even if you're trying to tank, the third stringer is going in as hard as he can or he's going to get hurt. In baseball, it's not I'm worried about overplaying. It's more of a relaxed game, and they did a really smart thing in baseball to speed the game up. And I think now people can go and watch, and they don't want to sit there for 3.5 hours. They can get it done much earlier. So that's why I think the rules that they've made in baseball has helped people that like baseball gravitate more to it, and stuff in basketball has happened. So
can I ask you why you think that, like, what do you think that baseball has passed NBA in their ratings?
No.
Okay, because the NBA right now for the first 2 games averaged like almost 9 million views per game.
Yeah.
Baseball ratings right now is like 1.8 million per game.
Yeah, but you're talking regular season versus the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is overall.
But isn't that the argument right now?
No, the argument is just there's more people. The trajectory for baseball is the attendance is increasing and the ratings are increasing. And in the NBA Finals, if you compare, it's not saying who watches more, because I would say more people are watching, but the NBA is doing this and Major League Baseball is more doing this. And I'm more saying, why do you think that is?
The MLB has increased by like 10%, and the NBA Finals have decreased by like 24%. The reason being because naturally the finals are going to drop off because they peaked in like 2016, 2017, because it was Curry and LeBron. And they're going to hit an all-time high. You're not going to get a better finals than that.
Yep.
And
I think that's definitely part of the argument.
You're going to see a drop off because once people's teams lose, like New York, once New York lost, I guarantee you that attributed a major part.
I agree
to
with that. That's
them
a
not
big
watching.
franchise.
So obviously when the finals come around, you're going to have a little bit of drop.
Absolutely.
Because teams, if your team isn't in the finals, you're less likely to watch the game. It's not like the Super Bowl where it doesn't matter who's in it, you're going to watch the game.
And globally, there's way more Knicks fans than Pacer fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And with baseball, it's such an easy game to watch. And I'd be curious how much viewer retention baseball actually has and how many people are actually watching the full game.
It's not high.
Because
I bet it's small.
because I think that plays majority into it, and I would say the same thing for NBA games.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what the actual viewer retention is, because if you're comparing all these games to different leagues, and the viewer retention is going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
I think what's more interesting is the ratings of golf lately. The ratings of golf has shot up insane.
I think people our age are getting, like, golf is popular for younger people these days.
So kind of recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons for that.
Every championship or every like major cup right now is averaging like close to like 4 or 5 million views per
awesome.
championship.
I think golf's cool again, man.
Yeah.
I've said it for a long time.
I don't think golf was never not cool. But
Well, I think there's a generation of people who probably don't golf at all.
I think there was Tiger Woods brought it up so high, and then when he started struggling, people left for a long time because it was so one star, even though there was Phil Mickelson and there were some other players. But I mean, some people liked Phil Mickelson and he did well, but
old
it's
people
nowhere.
like Phil Mickelson.
Well, it's nowhere. Old people. I was a Tiger guy. He's
Facts.
my age.
Yeah, I know.
So
I wasn't calling you
yeah,
old. I was just saying the old people like Phil Mickelson.
but it wasn't. But it was Tiger.
He
I'm
plays
just saying.
baseball.
There's a reason. There's a
and
reason
then it
Phil
was
Mickelson
everybody
plays
else.
for Live Golf right now.
He golfs
Boy,
the
he-
right way.
Oh, does he now?
You know what I'm saying?
I don't
You know
want
what
to get
I'm
into.
saying?
I don't want to get into Phil Mickelson's
Yeah.
decision making.
There's just
or
something
Tigers,
about
I
Phil.
guess. But they're just not the same. It's more that right now there's more parity and younger players and anyway. So there is some.
I do
It's
want to
cool
say
that it's kind of coming full circle.
Yeah.
on
It's
the
great.
baseball thing. I, as like an outsider that doesn't watch a lot of baseball or really any at all, it's a small amount. Okay,
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
watch a little
Yep,
bit.
that firework night.
The fireworks are great. I do really love how the MLB has handled like players like Shohei Ohtani, where I feel like they've made the MLB has made him like very inclusive and like used him as like a star power. And what's cool about Shohei is first of all he deserves it, right? He's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
But what is really unique about his situation is like we've seen foreign players come into the NBA and like they don't really get the same treatment Shohei Ohtani's gotten. And I wonder if like, you know, we always talk about like who's the people that's going to carry the NBA, and we always think of like Americans. Americans are going to carry the NBA in the future, right?
I don't necessarily think that.
But like Shohei Ohtani's carrying the MLB right now, and he's not American.
Sure. Soto. Yeah.
So I guess my thought is like okay, we'll say Luka and Joker, right? There's no reason like they can't be the face of the league.
Yeah, there is a major reason.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
you want to know why they can't be the face of the
'Cause
league?
they don't want to be.
Because they're fat and white.
Wow.
I don't want either of them on an NBA cover ever.
It's just a double negative. It's a double negative that not only is he obese, he's also
They are the
I think
they
it's
are the
terrible.
absolute antonym of NBA.
Oh, wow.
They're
all I'm
fat,
saying
white-
is the MLB has made it really fun
Yeah.
to watch Shohei Ohtani.
Well, let's.
You know who I'm excited to see? Not speaking of the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani, Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer.
Did
I
you
thought
hear
you were
about Trevor
going-
Bauer?
No, you tell us. I thought you were going to talk
So-
Freddie freaking Freeman.
No, I don't care about Freddie Freeman.
Well,
He had
shit.
one cool part, and then that's it. He also plays for the Dodgers, so I really don't care.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you on the Dodgers.
The Trevor Bauer has been vacant of the league for like 5 years now, 3 years, somewhere in there. And the reason being was he had some serious allegations against him, and the MLB removed him. Well, just this past week, he won his
Allegations.
yeah, he won his case, and they turned out to be false allegations.
Not terrible.
And so now he's able to come back to the MLB, hopefully. Hopefully they let him come back. But right now he's playing in like Mexico in some like Mexican league. He's so good. It's not even funny.
The Dodgers is not fair what they've got on their rosters.
No.
That's insane.
But if he comes back,
yeah.
they'll
Wow.
have like two of the
Well,
best.
I want to
pitchers in
talk
the league.
about another incredible baseball player right now that is doing some things that's insane. Last week, Denzel Clark had an incredible catch in center field where he slams up against the wall. It was it was a play of the
I have-
week
I have
type
a
of
question.
thing. It was great. Just a sec. Okay, I want to say this. And then he follows it up last night with what I have seen is one of the best catches I've ever seen in baseball. He almost jumped over the fence, which is insane. He was barely caught. He got the out. I thought that was incredible. What are your thoughts on that play? And then we'll go to what you were talking about. Did you guys get a chance to see that catch? Because it was unbelievable. Cameron, what are your thoughts on what he's done this last week? And where would you put that catch? Where would you rank that?
I watched it. It was cool. I don't know. I've seen it time and time again where a player runs to the back wall, jumps off the back wall, catches the ball.
He just went like 2 feet higher.
It's
It doesn't look
okay.
like.
Listen, I
it's
can do
it's
it.
cool. Don't get me wrong, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was-
But like I've seen so many other players do it, and it's like an outfielder's signature thing, where like there's a ball going over the wall, but it's just barely over the wall, and I'm gonna run and I'm gonna plant my foot halfway up the mat and then jump up and catch the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we want to talk about something difficult, have you seen
I've
the
seen
banana
middle
players?
schoolers do that.
Have you seen the
I've
banana
seen middle
baseball
schoolers
players
play that.
They do backflips and catch the ball. Did you see that? That is
Yeah,
so
they
cool.
have their own. They have their own rule book.
Yeah, that's a whole different league. But I have never,
Literally,
I have
that's some
never
baseball.
seen a guy jump that high.
it wasn't that
catch a ball.
high. He jumped off the wall. He only jumped like 2 feet off the ground and planted on the wall.
You're telling me you think he could jump 24 inches?
Me?
No, in that play, he only jumped
Yes.
24 inches.
If you see where he planted
Wait,
his
wait,
foot,
wait,
We are
wait,
going
wait,
to
wait.
show
if you
this
see
again.
where
Wait,
he
wait.
planted his foot, he's
Hold the
only
clip,
like
Drew.
2-3 feet
Hold
off
the
the
clip.
ground.
The clip is going to be played, and Cameron, you're not going to look good
Where
on
he
this one.
planted his foot on the wall, it was only 2 or 3 feet off the ground.
Oh, so you're saying he went much higher
Yeah,
than 2
so
feet?
he jumps off the ground, plants his foot on the wall, and then jumps off the wall.
Watch the clip. We need to watch the clip.
Pull
It's,
the clip.
it's
Pull the clip.
really not that
Pull the
impressive.
clip.
I've
Oh my
seen
gosh.
so many other players
You
do
tell
it.
us. Please tell us in your comments if you agree with what Cameron's saying or if there needs to be an eye exam. Just let me know. Let me know. I mean, we all care.
Hey, if we're gonna
We
give
care.
shout outs to baseball players right
Yeah.
now, how about Cal Riley? Huh?
Oh man,
How about
he's
the guy?
He's insane.
How about that guy? You know what
That-
his nickname is? The Big Dumpa.
the big dump?
The Big Dumpa. I like that guy.
Yeah.
He when we went to the baseball game last year, I remember he played pretty good, but he's a catcher, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he catches.
Yep. Look at this right here. I want to show you this, Trent.
Listen, all Cameron's saying is where he plants is 2 feet off the wall. Let me hold up. Let
They
me
show
see.
his foot planted.
Let me see. I'll inspect the video. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Anyway,
I just want to. Hey,
we'll
listen.
move on.
Mariners playing all right now. Okay.
And it's cool to watch the Mariners have
Thanks
a
to
star
the
like
thanks
this.
to the Big Dumpa.
Yeah, is he already the best catcher the Mariners have ever had? I'd say
I
absolutely.
mean, probably.
Yeah.
I give that a
I
pretty
mean,
high
I think that's
likelihood.
pretty cool. So, all right, I want to mention this I thought was funny. Okay, baseball again. Timothy, I believe it's Raquel, filed a lawsuit in 2023. He, as a fan of the Colorado Rockies, was watching a game and he was struck by a ball, and so he's just recently filed a lawsuit claiming this. There was a couple reasons why he got injured. He got hit in the eye. He claimed the injury was caused in part by the team's poor performance. He was distracted because the Rockies are terrible, and the stadium design caused him to not see it. Those two things.
Oh, okay.
So, just curious what your thoughts are on blaming a team for being so terrible. It's not his fault for not paying attention.
Listen, I actually think I should take this question.
Okay.
I have been watching Suits on Peacock.
Great show.
Yep.
Why?
Oh, I love that
I
show.
actually like it.
Sucks.
I
Oh,
like it.
That is a good show.
Here's the deal. Harvey Specter,
That's so Burrow.
wish I was him. Is that the news saying? That show's so Burrow. That's actually could work. That could work. I could see.
Let's not.
I could
Let's
see
not
young
even
people.
try to do that.
I could see
Continue
young
with your
people.
stupid analogy.
Okay. Anyways, I've been watching Suits. Okay.
Okay.
And I think he's got a serious claim here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm no lawyer
Yeah.
or counselor. You can call me that, Counselor Trent. But he sounds like he's got a serious claim to me.
Yeah.
I think if you have the right lawyer,
Yeah.
you could definitely pull this off in
yes,
court.
absolutely. You can do a lot of things.
No, I can see it.
Yeah, when I was at Washington State, there was one of our court case laws that we did. They said that somebody at Washington State was playing intramural baseball and slid into second base, broke their ankle, and sued Reebok and won because nowhere on the shoe did it say you shouldn't play softball in the shoe, and they won. Yes.
That is just
It's insane. Now, there was another lawsuit that was lost at University of Idaho.
I hate our world.
Yeah, so I know it was so frustrating. But the one that lost was that a person at University of Washington was drunk, and they were mooning somebody outside their window of dorm room, and they fell out and hurt their back, and they sued the school for not having bars. and they did lose that one. So at least there's a little bit of justice. So
It's like the
that's
lady-
our world.
It's like the lady that sued McDonald's for hot coffee.
hot coffee.
It's like just the stupidest.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
people genuinely have so much time to do stupid stuff. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, get a job. Do like something with your life instead of just like finding these random companies
Yeah.
and being like,
Take
I'm gonna
advantage of-
sue you and take like a little bit of money from you because it's gonna hurt you, but I know I can get the free money.
That's what it is. Yeah,
It's
they're-
like
that's
you're a worthless human being. You're worthless.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's taking advantage of people just because they have, and you're being lazy. Okay, I'm gonna go to you on this one, Cameron. Georgia baseball closer Brian Curley. This happened earlier.
Curly.
Closer for the Georgia Bulldogs. He is kind of known for his cocky demeanor and facial expressions, and he had a moment where he had a game ending. There was a player, at least on second, maybe a couple players on, and he looks back. I'm gonna have Drew show this play, and he looks back, sticks his tongue out, kind of at the player on second that's leading off, and fires it in, strikes the guy out, and then he throws his glove in the air, which was awesome. And he's like, "Did you expect anything different? What were you expecting?" So I wanted to hear what your thoughts. We'll show the clip. What were your thoughts, Cameron? Some people are saying that is awesome. Some people are saying that's cocky. Some people are saying it's disrespectful. And some people say he's got swagger. What do you say, Cameron?
So the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the clip was he probably is on the spectrum a little bit. He looks a little bit like he has Down syndrome. And I don't know if the sticking the tongue out and all that was intentional. That might have just been something. But
Okay.
jokes aside, I think that I'm surprised he didn't get thrown out of the game by a ref because, as we all know, refs suck and don't like to have any fun. So I'm surprised they allowed him to do that. I'm glad they did because that to me is what sports is all about. Just being that guy. And when you do something cool, you're allowed to celebrate. You're allowed to have fun with it. Did you hear about that girl the other day at her track meet that got disqualified from state because of her
Yes.
celebration?
Yeah.
Gosh.
They
That's
had this
insane.
super cool celebration where she won the race and then they pulled out a fire extinguisher and sprayed her shoes down.
Well, it's a recreation of
Yeah.
one of the Olympic runners.
Yeah.
I forget which one it was.
She got disqualified.
She got disqualified.
That's insane.
And
it
lost
was
her thing.
And it was also they did it after everyone had like gone away.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like as soon as she finished the race, which is what
How can they do that?
the Olympic guy, he did it like as soon as he like crossed the finish line, he threw his shoes off and got a fire extinguisher and started spraying it down.
Yeah.
She
Wow.
like finished the race,
yeah.
did like the whole
That's-
thing,
that's
and then
sad.
walked over to a whole different
That's
area
sad.
where her dad sprayed her fire extinguisher
that is
shoes.
that is absolutely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's the
We're
worst thing
such a
ever.
soft society. That is so terrible.
Yeah, but I'm
I
very glad that he was allowed to like
Yeah.
do his whole thing. And
yeah,
like,
I think it is fun. To me, where things cross the line, and maybe somebody could say this, is like when there are certain players that go and it gets to the personal to where they're fighting and they're in their face and they're derogatory and keep being derogatory. I love it when somebody shows passion when they do something good.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a sport where everybody just I mean, Barry Sanders is classy of a human being as you could possibly have. Okay. I love that. But Barry Sanders, maybe the best running back of all time, one of them. It's fun, though, to watch guys that have passion when they're doing it, too. And he
Yeah.
would hand the ball off, and good for him. But I love the passion. I loved it. So, anyway, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on it. I did see something in here about what you're talking about. Brian Curley, a Georgia pitcher, it says, has been featured in articles discussing his physical and mental development as a player. However, there is no specific information available about whether he has.
I was making a joke.
I'm just saying.
I didn't know that was a serious claim.
It's actually mentioned. You are not the first person
so
to have
funny.
wondered, but I thought I would bring that up. So
Crazy.
yeah, yep. Anyway, okay. So we've got game 3
Game
is
3
coming
tomorrow.
up. You have Indiana winning.
Easy dub.
Who do you have winning? Game 3. It's in Indy.
Mm-hmm. Indiana.
Indiana.
What are we talking about here?
All right. We'll see where we're at. I'm going to go OKC, and I'm a lone wolf on this one.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll see you next week. We'll see. We'll also come back and we'll do some shorts and stuff throughout the week. Again, if you like what you see, I love having these guys in here. This was a lot of fun today. Please hit that subscribe button.
Have fun at the free throw line.
Let me know. Yeah, SGA is shooting 2 right now. See you next time.